The questions remain the same in each of these interviews. The power lies in hearing these amazing answers. My name is Tony Reese, and it is with a great privilege and honor I present to you this installment of My Life Lessons Showcasing Senior Adults. Welcome to My Life Lessons Showcasing Senior Adults. Today my guest is Joanne Pierie. Welcome. Did I get it right?
You got it right.
I got it right.
Yeah.
Okay, Joanne, thank you for showing up to the project today, and take a moment and tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. I was born and raised outside of Philadelphia in a community called Wynmore. And I'm one of 4 children, 2 brothers and a sister. And growing up, I was in a very protected world, protected life. Went to college. Was deciding what I wanted to do. I thought I knew I loved I always loved children, and I always loved dancing. Those were my 2 loves all my life. And I took ballet, tap and toe, and then I took modern, and I thought, as I got older, I realized that I would never survive in that world. It wasn't for me because I was very protected. I didn't know how to live in a city and that kind of. But the other thing I loved were children, so I thought I want to be a teacher. Mm. I went to Wilson College, which is right in this area. That's in Chambersburg. And I tried to take the education courses, and they were boring. So I majored in economics, and I minored in philosophy and religion, and that will get you nowhere. So I had a dear friend at college, said, oh, you know what, you can go to Goucher and get a 5th-year course, and you can get a master's in teaching. And I thought, okay, I'll give that a shot. And I did, and then got married, had children, started back to teach after I was home for 7 years. And I realized that the children that really fascinated me were the ones that were more of a challenge. So I found a approved private school, went there, ended up being there for 34 years. I was the principal, and then, so your life takes you in different directions than what you ever suspect it will be. But.
Well, that's a great segue into the first question.
Uh-huh.
How would you define a great life?
Yeah. I was very, very lucky. I was born into a loving, wonderful family. My mother got who I was, and she directed me. She's the one that found the college for me that I just mentioned, and just moved me on. And then I had 2 wonderful, fabulous girls who are terrific people in the world. I have 6 lovely grandchildren. I did a job I loved for 34 years. I mean, how much luckier can you get? And then I ended up here.
Well, how has the Highlands helped you with this great life now?
Well, it's like expanding it in a way I didn't think that it would be when I retired, because once I retired, I thought, I've lost my purpose. I'm not sure what I'm doing. And then we ended up here, and the people here are just phenomenal. If you've interviewed some of them, you know that's true.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Very bright, very caring, very inclusive, and what they offer you here. I mean, you can take college courses here because they have a relationship with Alvernia. They'll take you there or bring them on campus, and it doesn't cost you anything. Tremendous exercise classes. I told you I like to dance. There's line dancing and all kinds of other exercises, and now they've even put together ballroom dancing. And then there's always the movies, even the old movies that you can see, and concerts, and the beautiful place outside for concerts, and bright, intelligent people here. They're terrific, kind and generous. It's a fabulous. I said to Harold, I think I died and went to heaven.
Oh, how wonderful. How wonderful. So your great life just keeps going on.
It keeps going on.
How amazing is that?
Yeah.
Who were your heroes or your role models when you were a child?
Well, as I mentioned my mother. When I look back on it, she was amazing. I didn't realize it, but when I look back. And as I mentioned, I was one of 4. And I remember her saying to my father, not just the boys are going to go to college, the girls are too. My mother didn't. Her generation and her protected world, they didn't. And she made sure that we did, and it was a good thing for us. As a matter of fact, later in her life, after we all moved out, she began to sell mutual funds.
Oh.
Unbelievable. And she was just an incredible person. And then on my way through, as I mentioned, when I graduated from college, I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and one of my dear friends was the one that mentioned, go to Goucher. Role model. Didn't even realize it at the time. And I've had tons of them through my life. Dear friends that have helped me through difficult times, gave me good advice about how to do it and how to move on. So very, very, very lucky.
What do you think would surprise people the most to learn about you?
One of the things that I've mentioned that I find surprising that they don't know about is I worked at an approved private school. They don't know what approved private schools are. There are teachers here. There's one right in the area, the Camp Hill School. These are schools that are funded by the state. The state pays 60% and the district pays 40%. So when you have a special child that isn't fitting in the public school, it's less expensive than having a one-to-one for them in the classroom. And the programs are set up to surround the child. And so it's surprising to me that with the teachers and the intelligent people here, they don't know about the APSs, you know.
Well, that's amazing. That's amazing that now they may have grandchildren or know of others who may want to take advantage of these types of schools.
Yeah, they're terrific. That's what I worked with for years. And they're, well, you might have heard of Devereaux. I mean, people seem to hear of that one, not the others. So, no.
What else would surprise people to know about you?
Well, I have something called amblyopia.
What
you know what that is?
No, I don't.
I only have sight in one eye.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But it doesn't show. I mean, you can't tell. So I guess that would surprise people. I don't know. They know that I like to dance, so that wouldn't surprise them.
Do you get to dance here?
Uh-huh.
Do you?
Yeah. There's line dancing and there's ballroom dancing that I mentioned. And they do wonderful, at holidays, they'll have a holiday dance and they put down a dance floor. And it's great. It's like a ton of fun.
Oh, I would love to see that. So what has been your greatest life lesson that we can learn from?
Follow your heart. Don't be afraid to move ahead and try new things. They were my mentors that helped me with that. And even in so doing, if something doesn't go right, if you haven't done it out of malice or nastiness, let it go and learn from that experience. And use it as a lesson. Use that as a life lesson to move on.
Can you give me an example of how you've applied that in life, one of these lessons, and how that worked out for you?
Well, as I said, I was married, and it turned out that my husband was bipolar. So I had to have the strength to move on. And I'm glad I did, because since then I've really moved into other areas and met other wonderful people. So that was a huge life lesson for me. I thought I'd be married and taken care of for all my life.
So the lesson was to recognize that you had options?
And not blame myself, which I did. Most of the time I thought if I just did things better, it would be okay. It wasn't.
It takes a lot of courage to do that, doesn't it?
Yeah, particularly my generation, the way we were brought up.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
What does love mean to you?
Love is multifaceted. You know, when you're young, it's family, and how you're being raised. Getting married, that's the love in your heart. You think it's another kind of feeling. Having children. I've got 6 grandchildren. Talk about the icing on the cake. It's fabulous. But I think love is also reaching out and understanding rather than criticizing. Look at it another way and be there for people that need you to be there for them. Help them, support them, and kindness. Love is what people here offer you. It's amazing. tremendous and gentle. So it's far-reaching more than just a single relationship. It's part of what the good part of the world is.
When I asked you the question earlier about who are your role models, and you spoke about descriptions of people that helped you, that helped move you, guide you, loved you, and the way you've answered the love questions, it sounds as though that's come full circle for you.
Yeah.
That you also give what you've received.
I try to. Yeah.
How do you want to be remembered?
That's a hard one. I just hope that for my girls, they will know that I was always there for them and helped them, supported them, and that I love them dearly. Same for my grandchildren, that I was a good support and a good role model for them. And I helped out families and children, the special families and the special needs children I worked with was a tremendous gift to me, and hopefully they felt the same.
Thank you for such a graceful interview today, Joanne.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.